If you're here right now, there's a good chance you've been living with a mental pressure that almost no one sees, but you feel it every day. The constant comparing, the second guessing, the sense that no matter how much you know, do, or accomplish, you're somehow still behind. The quiet torment of believing other people have clarity you don't, confidence you don't, opportunities you don't. That pressure has a name: Leviathan. Leviathan is not the devil of jealousy in the childish sense. He is the devil of twisted perception, the force that warps your understanding of yourself, of others, and of the path God has laid before you. He takes your God-given need for knowledge and insight and distorts it into overthinking, self-doubt, comparison, and mental fog. In my book, Awaken Your Shadow, I write that ignorance is not the absence of knowledge, but the inability to trust what you already know. Leviathan feeds that inability until your mind becomes a maze without exits. Under Leviathan's influence, you live in your head instead of your life. You analyze instead of act. You compare instead of create. You question instead of trust. Your mind becomes a battlefield of imagined scenarios, what-ifs, and invisible judgments. Psychology calls this cognitive flooding. Christian mystics described it as a serpent of confusion, coiling around the mind, tightening every time you try to move forward. The sin here is envy, not wanting what someone else has, but believing their path means something is wrong with yours. And this sin activates the overthinking self, the shadow version of your intuitive nature. This is the part of you that questions its own insight, mistrusts its own discernment, and waits for certainty that never comes. But God did not leave your mind unguarded. Against Leviathan stands Archangel Jophiel, steward of kindness, the virtue that restores clarity by softening judgment, easing comparison, and bringing your perception back into alignment with truth. Under Jophiel's influence, the intuitive self rises again, quiet, confident, discerning, anchored. Take a breath. Feel your forehead relax, your mind loosen, the inner noise soften. I call upon Archangel Jophiel, steward of God's kindness and governor of my intuitive self. Align my perceptions and interpretations with the principle of mentalism, and stand as advisor and overseer of my contract with knowledge. I surrender to God my need for knowledge. Let every shadow of ignorance be exposed by His light, and transfigured by His grace into the manifestation of my divine counselor. Let me live free of Leviathan's chains of envy, and claim my divine right to insight as an expression of God's kindness moving in and through me. When this prayer begins to settle, comparison loses its grip. Your mind stops arguing with itself. Your intuition becomes clearer, quieter, more trustworthy. You begin to understand what I meant when I wrote, "Clarity is not found in answers, but in alignment." And from that alignment, your next steps become unmistakable. If this message opens something in you, continue to the next video and subscribe for more. Your freedom from Leviathan begins the moment you stop comparing your path and start listening to the one who authored it.